So hello everyone, my name's Christian, and tonight I'd like to talk to you about how we can use open data to engage our local community with its heritage. So first of all, it's worth saying that open data has become this monolithic term over the past few years, and it's now generally regarded as having this buzzword status. But what is open data? Well, according to the Open Data Institute, open data is simply data anyone can access, use, and share. Now, one of the most notable examples of this comes from the government, who are making their data publicly available at both a national and local level. And by making this data open, there's a perceived triple objective, which is to create a more transparent government, improving public services, and create new economic and social value. So to give you an example of what sort of data we're talking about, let's consider improving public service in London. So London has one of the biggest transportation networks in the world. It's huge, and so is the data it generates. There's data available about every tube journey, every bus route, and about every delay. Now, there's lots of operational value in that data for Transport for London, but there's also a lot of value in that data for us, the commuters and tourists. We want to know about those delays, and we want to know where those buses go, and when that last tube departure is. Now, until a few years ago, we could only really access that information through certain services Transport for London provided, so their website, printed publications, and digital signage in the stations. And for most of us, that was great. We got by with it. But access to that information could have been better. Then in 2010, there was a shift in the way Transport for London made that data available. They made it open. This enormous amount of data became available for anyone to access, use, and share. And since making that data open, there are now 5,000 registered developers using it as a tool to create hundreds of smartphone applications we use every day to plan our journeys. And it's given us choice. It's given us choice how we access that data. So we're no longer stuck in a mold or bound to a one-size-fits-all model. Or think about it like a pizza shop doing a free build your own pizza promotion. The shop provides you with the toppings, and you arrange them on the pizza base yourself, in a way to suit you. Now, you're probably sat there thinking, why is this important, and how is this relevant to heritage and the local community, the thing I'm supposed to be talking to you about? Well, I'm one of those open data developers, or more specifically, part of a development team at Lancaster University, and we create an app called iLancaster, which is widely used across the university to deliver students with information which makes their time at the university easier. And one of the most popular services students use is our bus timetable, which, like many of the Transport for London apps, is powered by open access data. But here's the thing. These are very practical and functional. They help us to be efficient, and they help us to plan our day. And that's great, but as developers, we wanted to step away from that efficiency and start thinking forward about how we can be more creative with open data and develop new apps that engage not just the students of Lancaster, but the local residents too. And we wanted to do this in an exciting way. And one of the first attempts at this focused on Lancaster's rich heritage. So going back to November now, we took part in Hack Lancaster, which was a hackathon at Lancaster Castle. Now, for those of you who don't know what a hackathon is, it's basically an event where teams of designers and developers battle it out to come up with either a solution to a problem or to create something really cool just using technology. And it happens usually over 24 hours. It's absolutely crazy, but it's great fun. Now, Hack Lancaster focused on a really exciting and novel open data set, the Urban Archaeological Database, which contained a variety of interesting data, such as historical maps, locations of artifacts found under the ground, and some fantastic historical imagery. And it was the first time this data had been made available for anyone to access and use. And it was a great opportunity. It was so good. But with this opportunity came challenges. What do we do with this data? How do we present that data to you in a way that's engaging and a way that's meaningful to people? And we had to give it context, because without context, it was just a database full of lines of coordinates and files, and although this data had open access, it wasn't still really accessible. So that was our challenge. We wanted to do our best to provide the residents of Lancaster easy and engaging access to this data, but in a creative and fun way. And that's what we tried to achieve over 24 hours, fueled by coffee, energy drinks, and a distinct lack of sleep. We brought our skills together as designers and developers to create an application which would engage you with Lancaster's history. And we did this by making a digital map, this map. And you're probably thinking, how on earth is this engaging? But go with me for a minute. I believe we're all very aware of our surroundings, especially in Lancaster. We know that the new Morrisons used to be an HMV and that TK Maxx used to be Woolworths. But this is all in our living memory. Most of us have experienced that change. Now, if we want to go back a little further, 90 years, for example, There is a wealth of crowdsourced imagery emerging on social media platforms which might give us the answer. But what about earlier than that? What was there before that building even existed? Well, we were able to use the Urban Archaeological Database to find those answers and put them on this map for you. Here, each pin marks a historical find or point of interest related to Lancaster's history, and under each pin, we bring together these images and textual information to tell you about what's concealed meters under your feet. But we had an issue. There was so much data. So we had to break that data down into broader categories. These categories let us explore the opportunity of community engagement and education. For example, children studying the Romans at school could come and use this and look around Lancaster just for the Roman finds. Or enthusiasts of medieval Lancaster could easily locate the pins relevant to them. But we didn't want to make we didn't just want to make people we didn't just want people walking around actively looking for these pins. We wanted you to discover them for yourself without realizing it. We wanted it to be surprising, and we achieved that by referencing the pin's coordinates with the GPS inside your smartphones or tablets. So that if you walked over one of these points on your daily commute, we'd send you a little notification to tell you what you've just stumbled upon, so that we can start presenting the past in the present. And there was so much more we could have done, but not within 24 hours. We're keen to keep exploring how we can use more open data to add value to this app. We've already started experimenting with Google Street data to create route plans which direct you around these points of interest in the city. But that's just one idea. There are so many more ideas out there. Could we start linking the finds and artifacts found in Lancaster to other cities and towns across the country so that we could better understand these finds? Or could we take the route planning idea further? Rather than just planning routes around points of interest in Lancaster, could we blend together the data we have about historical road networks with open access public transport data and recommend journeys to you which link our cities and towns together based on their history? And these are just my ideas, and they haven't even scratched the surface. And there's so many more possibilities when we sort of link this data together and combine it with other open data sets. So to finish off, that's what I want to challenge you with. I want you to go away and think about the creative opportunities open data can offer us. And I'm not just talking about heritage and transport data. There are so many data sets out there waiting for us to be creative with, which allow us to think outside the mold. And this isn't even to mention the data out there which isn't even open access yet. But if we push that data to be open, we can unlock its potential as a driving force for creative innovation. So that's your challenge. Think about and explore the data that's available, and think about how we can release it from being a functional and efficient tool to a fun and engaging resource which would benefit us all. Thank you.